That summer of July, intense heat waves drained a lot of water out of me. The wet cotton shirt and pajama had a little cooling effect because of evaporation. I was sitting under the tree in our backyard, resting with my eyes closed and tongue out, like dog. The shades of this tree had been always the same every year. My mom and I used to take care of it, watering it every day, not only for its shade but for its fruits as well. A mango tree, green, tall, dense and weighted with ripe mangoes. I watered it because I loved its shade. As for mangoes, they were too sweet to my tongue. Under its shade that summer I nodded off, like I would always. The wind felt hot sometimes, but then shots of cold air always followed it, almost canceling each other effect. It was the best place to lay and dream indeed. The story of this summer changed when the sharp chirping of a hatchling entered my ears. Opening my eyes when I looked at the source of sound, I could see a tiny bird chirping with its weak wings spreaded. Surprised, I decided to take it into my hands, primarily because of its adorable appearance, and secondly to help him take a flight. Its tiny claws could only tickle my palm, but I never considered the possibility of them hurting me. Its continuous and sharp chirping was concerning. To me, that hatchling looked like a lost child, separated from its parents. So I decided to look up in hope to find its nest, its home. Luckily, I found the nest, but sadly it was toppled, upside down. My eyes could only see it a moment ago, but now they could feel it too. The events that took place on the tree while I was resting under its shade must have been horrible. That little child had lost its home, its everything, probably the unluckiest day for that hatchling. No, I was sure it was the worst day of its life. Kid me was kind and compassionate, like most of the kids, so I decided to take care of it, decided to be its new home. I had no knowledge of petting a bird. I just knew what a bird looked like, its appearance, what sound it produces, that it could fly and that it fed on worms. Those boundaries of knowledge never let me worry about what else was needed. Maybe that's why I was so sure about taking care of it. Finding worms wasn't easy, and in this heat it was probably impossible, is what I thought. So I decided to provide my friend with water. With the chilled water bottle resting in the freezer, I got up, holding my new bird pet in my hands. As I left the shade of tree, the sun started to shine brighter, like stopping me to even take a single step forward. Enduring its penetrating rays, I brought my hands closer to my chest, not only to give my bird pet shade, but also to prevent the hungry roaming eagles to prey on it. There were 3 of them circling the tree, high above it, like looking for a chance to snatch that child out of my hands. With the eyes of hatred, I gave them a short stare and quickly walked over to the backyard door. When I entered inside the house, I let out a sign of relief. Indeed, I was worried about the bird, but more than that, I was worried about myself, like a kid who is afraid of eagles and vultures. I then left the room behind me and entered the corridor. My steps were gentle over wooden floor, not because the wooden floor was weak to hold me, but my mom and grandparents were resting at his hour of day. Entering inside the kitchen when I opened the freezer after putting down my little pet over the table, the cold, foggy clouds emerged from inside. The faster they appeared, the faster they disappeared. Taking out the water bottle, I then mixed it with some normal water to make it suitable for drinking. Surely the heat was intense, but never enough to drink ice. Finding a water bowl in front, my tiny little bird pet, which had now calmed a lot, dipped its beak into it. Soon half of the water was gone, yet its beak of thirst still pierced the surface. After his thirst was quenched, I quenched mine. I was so drowned into the sight of my pet drinking water, I only realized after my pet finished how much thirsty I was myself. The little bird was at peace, calmer and before. Seeing it, I was sure it was feeling sleepy. So I decided to take it in my room to make a comfy bed of a nest. Those stairs up to my room When I started climbing, they felt more than usual. The more I climbed, the more were left to reach up there. But soon I was inside my room, which was more empty than usual, like a deserted island. A study desk was against the wall by the window. The window was not closed, but curtains were drawn, covering the familiar view and blocking the light coming through it. The room was illuminated by the fragments of light entering through the seams of curtain. It was illuminated enough to see and just enough to sleep. After placing that tiny little pet of mine on the table, I closed my distance to the wardrobe. Somewhere deep inside the wardrobe, filled with cloths of all kinds and especially of Winter's, which had yet to come but had never left its traces, I was looking for something. After exploring a while, I found it. The bed for my bird pet. It was my winter cap. Woven out of wool by my mother, it was so much precious to me. And perhaps I thought that holding my little pet in my woolen cap, which was closer to my heart, will hold my little pet closer to my heart as well. Picking my little bird pet, I gently put it on the inner side of cap, which was placed on my study table, making an artificial nest of wool. As its claws landed on the wool, it grasped the wool tightly, like it would never left it. New home, never ever. It then soon fell asleep after closing it. Tiny brown eyes. Like a tiny ball of brown-colored wool itself, it was barely distinguishable from its nest, if not for its breathing telling otherwise. Seeing my pet at peace, I felt sleepy as well, and I decided to give it my company. I looked at him with the eyes of adoration as my voice whispered, naming it Woolball. Soon I joined my tiny pet into the world of dreams, sitting on the chair with my head resting on the table by Woolball Nest. But then the world of dreams turned out to be a cruel reality. Like walking up from an eternal slumber, I found myself not on the table of my room, but rather under the shade of backyard mango tree. Laying against the source of shade, I wondered about everything for a while, and after a while, although the answer was clear as day, I still wanted to be sure about it, like a hopeful kid. So I decided to turn my head to the left. I hope that things will differ, only to find the harsh reality eating away at my dream, that I thought was reality. Not so far away from me, a protruding mass of earth, under the shade, was rather the grave of my little bird pet, Woolball, who never made it into my pet other than in my dream. That summer, the story changed and burned into my eyes when I found the little hatchling by my side, under the shade, dead and gone.